The Lakers just tapped into the Dodgers front office genius. Changes are already underway, and hopefully this doesn't hurt the boys in blue.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? I'm Harry Ruiz. That's Travis Rodgers, and it's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. On today's show, Yamamoto cards are selling for numbers that should require a credit check. We'll talk about the insane boom in his card market after that World Series run at MVP. The Dodgers have the Yankees crying poor. Yes, you heard that right. But first, Dodgers executives are quietly sliding into power positions with the Lakers. What does it mean for the Dodgers? What does it mean for LA sports? And Travis, why is this happening right now?
Because the Lakers are finally going to join the rest of the modern sports world and have some people in there that are paying attention to some of the details. I can't wait to get into it on today's episode of Locked On Dodgers. And it's brought to you by FanDuel. And right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So download that FanDuel app now.
You can catch more of Travis weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on 710 ESPN LA or the ESPN LA app with the Travis and DeMarco Show. As for me, I'm the Spanish play-by-play announcer for USC football and the Las Vegas Raiders. But when I'm not calling touchdowns, I'm right here doing what I love most, talking Dodgers baseball with you. If you're new around here, welcome to the family. Glad you found us. If you're an everydayer, you already know what's up. You're the heartbeat that keeps Locked On Dodgers going. All right, let's jump in. Dodgers execs running the Lakers? This is bigger than you think, because let's start with this story that shocked both MLB and NBA circles. Two major Dodgers figures, Farhan Zaidi and Andrew Friedman and Zaidi, are now officially a part of the Lakers' inner circle. It's not a rumor. It's not guesswork. This is real involvement in basketball operations during a major ownership transition, Travis.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think when we heard that the Buss family was going to sell the team to Mark Walters' group, that this was inevitable. And it just makes too much sense, right? The reason the Dodgers are the Dodgers is because they have an incredibly smart group of people that collaborate in an incredibly effective way to identify talent, to develop talent, and to find inefficiencies in other players, right? In other organizations. Just because it's one sport as compared to another doesn't mean those exact same principles won't work, right? I don't think that you're going to see Andrew Friedman and Farhan Zaidi go over there and start talking about draft this guy or that guy. I think what you're going to see is they're going to go over there and identify the systems that make sense, and more importantly, the systems that probably don't. You know, the Lakers have been run kind of as a mom and pop shop for a really long time. In the greater scheme of things around the NBA universe, they're a little bit behind the curve when it comes to, analytics and things like this. And the Dodgers are obviously way ahead of the curve. So you're going to bring in the same people that put in your systems in one place and have them put in the other. It makes a ton of sense to me. And this is where the advantage will lie, right? Unlike in baseball, where you can spend money to give yourself an advantage, and the Dodgers have been very effective at doing that as well. You can't really do that in the NBA. It's a cap league. So you need to find other places where you can create some advantage. And I think that the Walter Group, Friedman, Zaidi, they're really good at finding hidden advantages. And I would expect him to do the same thing with the Lakers.
Yeah, and here's what we know. Let's go by pieces. Obviously, Mark Walter, who already owns the Dodgers, is now the controlling owner of the Lakers. And as part of the transition, he brought in Zaidi and Friedman as senior voices within TWG Sports, which is the umbrella organization who is overseeing multiple Walter-owned franchises. Zaidi, who is back with the Dodgers after going out to San Francisco for a couple of years. He's a special advisor, and he's known for his analytics brain. He's basically Walter's right-hand man during this transition. Friedman, who is the main baseball guy within the Dodgers organization, and he's been pretty much the mastermind behind the 3 Dodgers World Series over the last 6 years. He is advising Rob Pelinka on a smaller scale, but still has a seat at the table. And the thing is, it's not just the Lakers. Zaidi, he's also been consulting with the WNBA's LA Sparks. So Walter owns them too. And this is now a single sports empire with shared leadership in Los Angeles, where it's like, hey, we want to make all these franchises, the Lakers with all its history, the Sparks in the WNBA, they're one of the most popular franchises in its history. But as of late, they started slacking and they're behind the curve with teams like the Las Vegas Aces, with teams over like in the East Coast with New York Liberty. So it's like, hey, you got to put them out there. The thing here, Travis, is are we gonna get in trouble with the Dodgers? Like, yeah, it's cool that they're helping out over there, but us as Dodgers fans, it's like our priority number one should be the baseball team. And there's no doubt about it. Can it be like splitting the pie? Could also be splitting the attention of these guys?
It's a great question. And I think it's obviously something to be aware of. I don't know if it's something to be concerned of at this point, but it's something to be aware of. I mean, we've all got 24 hours in a day, right? However you want to spend those hours, you can spend them however you want. But every time you spend a minute over here, it's less minute you can spend over there. So I understand that. Now, I think what makes this really intriguing to me is that the Dodgers are not run because one person is really smart. They're run because one person is really smart that has hired 5 other really smart people who then hire 5 other really smart people. And you've developed this, organization and this system that works really, really well. Now, ultimately, it's going to come back up to the top. And I think this is why it's exciting if you're a Dodger fan, if you're a Laker fan, Sparks. I know they're going to start an F1 team next year as well. They've got their fingers in a lot of different things. They've shown the capacity to multitask in other ways. So I'm optimistic, but I do hear what you're saying, Harry, and I think it's a really good point. If all of a sudden you're pulled in too many directions and you have to choose, then I think that they're baseball people at heart, and Andrew Friedman knows baseball, and Farhan Zaidi knows baseball in a way that they don't know other things, but they know smart. And that's the part that I think that they're probably going to go offer their observations. They're not going to go in there and be breaking tape on what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing, trying to figure that out. But they're going to go find other very smart people in other smart places and put them in place so they can report back.
Yeah, and look, on one hand, it shows you how trusted these two guys are by the ownership group, which you don't see this happening often in other sports. But it also suggests the Dodgers organizational model is something ownership wants to do across all sports that they have their hands in there, working in there. So that's something where it's like a major props for the Dodgers. From the moment that Guggenheim took over, they were like, okay, we don't have anything that limits us how much money we can spend on executives. We don't have a limit on how much we can spend on scouts. We don't have a limit on X, Y, and Z. Let's capitalize on that. And now with the Lakers, it seems like it's going to be the same situation. Yes, Rob Pelinka is still the GM over there, but you're going to have these guys over there being like, hey, Mark Walter, he's suggesting that you follow these guys' ideas and potentially even orders.
Yeah, I think what's particularly interesting with Pelinka specifically is, and this is just, having my ear to the ground and listening to some things here or there, that one of the things that the Dodgers are really well known for is having a collaborative approach to decision making and having, everybody kind of have a voice, and then Andrew Friedman takes it all in and ultimately makes his decisions. Rob Pelinka works more as a one-man band. Like he kind of does most of this on his own. He is not a collaborator by definition, that he's more of an individual. So those two things, those are going to miss. If one person wants a collaborative approach and the person that's there is not used to collaborating, that could be a disconnection. The good news is I think Rob Pelinka is actually kind of good at his job. I think that he's found way more good players that he's missed on. So maybe he can find a way to work in that system. But I think of all of the transitions, that's the part that's most interesting to me, is can that collaborative approach that the Dodgers have clearly thrived with transfer to the Lakers, where you have somebody that has not collaborated. It's basically been Rob and Jeannie together just making these decisions for years and years. And now it's Rob and a group from the Walter, a group of people from the Walter group that is a little bit different.
Yeah, so keep that new name in mind with this new venture, the TWG Sports, with Mark Walter and everything that has to. And I mean, Travis, he works a block away from Staples Center, right across the street, or sorry, from Crypto.com Arena. It's still pretty hard for me to switch the
It
names
is.
that it had for all its history until a couple years ago. So we'll keep an eye on that, and because the story isn't done, it's just starting, and it's going to affect front office dynamics across multiple leagues and across multiple stalwarts of franchises in the LA sports scene, because Dodgers, Lakers, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
No, it doesn't. And I think one of the exciting things is I'm sure that Andrew Friedman knows the other smart guys around the rest of the leagues, and not just baseball, but smart knows smart. I'm sure that Andrew Friedman has had thoughts on working in a lot of different things in his career. I think, if I ever get an opportunity, that's somebody I'd like to have on my team, or that's somebody that I would be interested in working with. And when you have the resources that the Walter Group has, and you can bring people in, like you said, you can't go buy all the players in the NBA, but you can buy everything else. And that's a pretty interesting dynamic when it comes to coaches, executives, scouts, all of the things that you can put an endless budget on. I think that you're going to see some changes, and sooner than later, which is great.
And speaking of front offices making headlines, coming up on Locked On Dodgers, the Yankees are suddenly claiming poverty. Yeah, you heard that right.
The NBA is back, which means there is no better place to get in on that NBA action than FanDuel, because FanDuel, it's the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And you can do all of your traditional action at FanDuel if you'd like. But let's say you miss the start of the game. Let's say you want to see how the game starts to unfold. Sometimes, you get that hunch in the middle of the game. You're like, dude, that guy can't miss, or that guy can't make one. And all of a sudden you decide you want to jump in right there. FanDuel can do that because they have live bets on everything from who will score next to those fourth quarter comebacks. And you can take those live bets, and you can also put them together with a same game parlay for a shot at even bigger payouts. It's going to keep every game more exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. So right now, FanDuel, they're hooking up new customers, because new customers get $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Thank you for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Check out our YouTube channel where you can subscribe for free. Smash that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Full episodes, hot takes, breaking Dodgers news, and more. If it drops, you're on it. That's how you become an everydayer here on Locked On Dodgers. How the mighty have fallen. The Yankees are crying poor while spending $319 million in 2025. Let's talk about a storyline that should have sounded impossible 10 or 15 years ago. The New York Yankees, the evil empire, the sports spending juggernaut for generations, are now publicly complaining about payroll and hinting they need a salary cap to survive. And why? Because the Los Angeles Dodgers broke baseball's economic hierarchy. Let's set the table. Hal Steinbrenner, the owner of the Yankees, he came out this week and said he'd like to reduce payroll next year. Even though the Yankees, like I said, they spent over $300 million this past season, he pushed back on the idea that the Yankees made a profit. He emphasized expenses. He pointed to stadium payments, and he even said people might be surprised by the cost that this team absorbs. Give me a break, Travis Rodgers. I would expect this from teams in cities like Kansas City, from teams in Arizona, from the New York Yankees. Really?
And no, you're right. It is truly shocking that the Yankees are, quite frankly, leading the charge up the hill on some sort of salary structure that would benefit teams like the Pirates and the Kansas City Royals. I don't quite understand it. I mean, their father, George Steinbrenner, was the one that was accused of ruining baseball not that long ago, the guy that would spend more money on more players and everything. The difference is he spent his money poorly. He spent his money in a way that did not benefit himself in a bunch of championships until they got Jeter and that run of guys, and that was a different animal. But it's laughable. To say that the Yankees don't turn a profit is just silly. Sell them then. See how that goes. See what the line of people that want to buy them looks like, and then tell me that a bunch of stupid billionaires are going to line up to buy a product that loses money every year. Give me a break. You're right. I kind of like it, frankly, Harry, because the Dodgers are so far in everyone else's heads. And yes, they have an economic, tool in their belt that not a lot of other teams do, but it's not just that. And, if we know anything about how this stuff goes, is that the players are pretty steadfast in their refusal to have some sort of salary cap. So I don't think that one is coming. I do think that labor problems are coming. I do think that some missed games are probably likely on the horizon, but that the Yankees have flipped side on this. Their father is spinning in his grave hearing their kids say, we can't compete with someone because of money. You're the New York blanking Yankees. Figure it out, man.
Yeah, they're pissed off because the Dodgers have passed the Yankees on the field, off the field, in spending power, and most importantly, in results. For decades, the Yankees, they were the team that set the bar. If you wanted the best player, you had to outbid New York. Right. If you wanted to prove you were serious about winning, you try to keep up with New York. They were the sun, and everybody else revolved around them. But that world right now, it's gone, because this version of the Dodgers, the Friedman Walter Dodgers, is the new superpower. Sorry, not only in baseball, but pretty much in all the sports. The Dodgers, they have outspent the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they have outperformed. The Dodgers have outspent the Yankees. They have outperformed them. They have outdeveloped the Yankees. And most importantly, they are showing the Dodgers, they are winning championships while spending instead of just spending.
Yeah, and that's the biggest difference. I think you're exactly right. The Yankees have spent money, but they just haven't spent money as effectively as the Dodgers have done it. And they'll continue to do it, right? Because quite frankly, the New York Yankee fans will demand it. They're not going to just sit around and go, oh, I guess we don't have the reason. They know they're better than that. I'm not a Yankee fan, but I respect Yankee fans. I think the Yankee fans know what's up. I think the Yankee fans care about winning the same way that Dodger fans care about winning. I think that anything less than competing for World Series titles is something that they are not going to accept. And they're going to hear this. People that go to Yankee Stadium, they know what they're paying for tickets and for beers and for hot dogs and for everything else. They understand that this idea that they're not making money is just laughably untrue. And they'll demand that the money gets spent. So it will get spent. I understand what they're trying to do to get some sort of guardrails against their own stupidity in certain situations, but that it's coming from the Yankees is just too rich. If the Cincinnati Reds want to come and say, hey man, we can't hang with that. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's find a way to make sure that the bottom comes up a little bit. But when somebody the Yankees are more valuable than the Dodgers. They are. I mean, just by the virtue of the market and the brand and everything else, for them to be the ones saying, yeah, we got to figure this out, that's silly.
Yeah, and we got a friend in common, Travis and I do, JT the Brick. And all the time, whenever the Dodgers are brought up, he's always like 27-9, 27-9. I was like, how many World Series have they won since 1990? I mean, look at how many they were after World War II, and how many were like when TV was black and white. Like, give me a break. Yeah, you have 27 titles, but how many were in the 20s, in the 30s? It's like, dude, it's been forever.
This is what's so funny to me, Harry, and you're right, is that, yes, the Dodgers are on one of the all-time great heaters. 3 World Series in 6 years is an extraordinary accomplishment. They're clearly going to be in the mix moving forward for at least 2 or 3 or 4 more years. They're in the middle of their best run ever, okay? But this stuff doesn't last forever. The Yankees of the 50s and 60s were unbeatable. The Yankees of the early, 2000s, the late 90s had won 3 in a row. And the world kept spinning and the baseball kept turning out new champions. And then we went 25 years without a repeat champion until we finally got one. This is not new. It's just that it's not them. This is the part that they can't quite wrap their head around. Whenever we've had long dynasties, it's usually been with them involved in it. The Reds have a little one. Even when the Atlanta Braves won all those divisions, they only won one title, right? But now that the Dodgers have won multiple titles in a relatively short period of time, the Yankees are the ones that are offended by this. They're usually the ones that are the dynasty. This stuff always changes. You fast forward 10 years from now, I guarantee you we're not still having the same conversation about the Dodgers ruining baseball, because Mookie will be out of the league. Freddie will be out of the league. Shohei will be an old man. Like, this stuff changes. They just got it right now.
Yeah, and that's why Steinbrenner right now is suddenly talking like a small market owner, planting seeds for a salary cap with the CBA expiring at the end of next year. The Yankees didn't complain when they were the ones breaking the sport financially. They didn't complain when everyone else was trying to keep up with them. But now that it's the Dodgers having the biggest contract in MLB history with Shohei Ohtani, the deepest roster, a farm system that remains elite and the best front office in the sport, suddenly the Yankees need some relief, like if they are the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Goofy. It just doesn't add up. And look, I'm fairly convinced that there's going to be some system in place that'll at least bring everybody a little bit closer together. I don't think we're ever going to get a cap like you have in some other sports, just because the players have been so steadfast in their refusal to even consider something like that. But that the Yankees are doing this is this would be like the Lakers saying, we got to change these rules because we haven't won a championship in 6 years. The Lakers are the ones that are, come on, man, you're the Lakers. You don't get to complain about stuff like that. And the Yankees are the Lakers.
They can't be like, it's unfair. OKC, they traded for a lot of picks. No, it can't be that way. It's like, hey,
they're
dude,
smarter than us. Now what do we do?
Exactly. Yeah. And look, the optics could not be more obvious. It's a shift in power. It's a shift in influence. It's a shift in perception. And the Yankees, they set the tone for baseball economics for generations. Now the Dodgers do it. And New York, the problem for them is they don't like it.
Get smarter. Get better at it. You're one of the few teams that can go in there. You don't want the Dodgers to get Yamamoto? Go spend more. Go make a better offer. Put together a team that's more competitive. Put together an environment that they're more likely to want to come into. You don't want to see Juan Soto walk out the door. Pay him more. That you're one of the few teams that actually can do that. Do it. If I pick the Colorado Rockies say we can't do that, okay, I'll listen. We can talk about some things. The Yankees, get out of here.
Give me a break. And if you think the Yankees money talk is wild, next on Locked On Dodgers, let's talk about the record-breaking cash being thrown at Yamamoto's baseball cards. Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find Travis on social media at Travis Rodgers on X and Instagram. Meanwhile, I'm at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. Yoshinobu Yamamoto card chaos. Prices are exploding beyond logic. The Japanese superstar pitcher isn't just dominating MLB hitters, he's dominating the trading card market, with the hobby world going nuclear with two of his cards just recently. First off, here's the amazing part. Karl Anthony Towns. Yes, the NBA All-Star and massive card collector. He pulled a one-of-one Yoshinobu Yamamoto logo man from a Topps Inception box. He auctioned it off and sold it for $72,000. The most ever for a Yamamoto card, at least until shortly afterwards, because that record was crushed almost instantly when Yamamoto's 2024 Topps Dynasty rookie logo man, also a one-of-one, sold for $173,989. This is insanity, Travis, because these aren't Mickey Mantle relics.
I know that's
a Honus Wagner card. These aren't 1960s treasures. These are modern baseball cards, and collectors are treating Yamamoto like a generational blue chip investment.
I'm taking bids on all of these, right? So I got this one. I found that in a pack the other day. I got another Yamamoto right here. So that's another one that you get. These are all worth probably, I don't know, a nickel or two a piece. So these are all very, very exciting. Yeah, you're right. I don't get it. As a kid, I was a huge baseball card guy. I still love flipping through them. I don't hunt those expensive ones because I don't have the budget to do something like that. But I do like it when Dodger players are in the middle of it. And I'm with you. Like, you used to think of, oh my gosh, that's a Jackie Robinson or a Mickey Mantle or a Joe DiMaggio. And now it's the new stuff that goes like this. I just live it. Anytime I open a pack of cards and I see that little Dodger logo in there, I get excited. And that there are other pro athletes that are doing this puts a smile on my face. I love it.
Yeah, and I don't know how active or not you are, like on social media, Instagram and Facebook. The way that they analyze everything. They've been starting to put a lot of baseball card and Pokemon content on my feed, even though I haven't bought but twice baseball cards over the last year, like the pack that they sold with the Dodgers World Series championship last year.
Yeah.
And Clayton Kershaw, the one from his final game, regular season game. I bought that one as well. And that was it. But like, they'll sell it to you for a pretty high markup price because they tell you, oh, there's a chance that you get a Clayton Kershaw autograph or a Shohei Ohtani autograph. And then when you're going through them, you're like, please let me get an autograph. Please let me get a game used something on it. And then it's like, oh, you don't get it. It's like, damn, I just spent $80 on this pack and it's just 12 pieces of cards right there. And it's like,
you get a bunch of these that are worth a penny a piece.
Exactly. And it's like, well, it was the excitement to see if I was going to get an autograph or nothing. And you usually don't get it. But like the Yamamoto situation, if they had been breaking those cards 2 months ago, they probably didn't have the same value. But now, after the World Series, he's a World Series MVP at 26.
Yeah,
he's a Dodgers ace in a group that has Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Shohei Ohtani. The best pitcher in it is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's an international star, which also explodes the market even more because it goes from just the U.S. to the rest of the world. And I mean, his pitching performance has been backed up every dollar that LA has spent in him.
I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see it, Harry. There's something on YouTube. It's called the mini World Series mini movie that Fox put together.
That's great. Yes.
It's just terrific. I was watching it yesterday and again, when the World Series ended, a month ago, give or take, maybe
less than a month ago.
Yeah. And just reliving the Yamamoto run, even a month later, you're almost like, oh my gosh, I forgot he did that. I forgot he did that. I forgot he did that. And it's just so that these cards have these incredible value is not if he continues on this trajectory that he's been on since he's come into this league, what are those things going to be worth, 10 years from now or whatever it is? Because he's doing stuff that just doesn't make any sense. Like, we've seen guys pitch really well before. We've seen guys get hot before, but he's throwing it back to another era where he's practically pitching in every game. Like, you forget how much he pitched in the World Series. He pitched in 3-4 games. I mean, just over and over and over again, just an exceptional performance.
He was the winning pitcher for the Dodgers in 3 out of the 4 wins in the World Series. And he was warming up to go in the one that he actually didn't win. He could have gone in and also won that one. And talking about the cards, Travis, I was going through like, why was one worth just over 70,000 and the another one was almost worth $200,000 if they are both like have a logo in it. And it's like, I was looking, okay, the Inception card, that the one that Cat pulled, it was a player worn patch and a sticker auto. So like, there's stickers that they sign and that then they put on the cards, and the patch was player worn, which sometimes it's a jersey that the player wears for a photo session, an autograph session, or that he's just doing something out in the community. The Dynasty card was a game used patch, and he actually signed the card. And I was like, man, that's worth $100,000 difference for the right collector. And right now, deep pockets, if an all NBA player who is making $50 million a year is spending his money or investing his money in cards, that shows you, hey, there's a lot of people with deep pockets out there that go from being like just rich people to becoming collectors as well.
The game where I used to ride my bike down to Tony's Liquor in Arcadia and pick up a couple of packs of cards for $1 and flip through them and then stack them up in a shoebox. And then, 10 years later, go back, oh my gosh, that's a Randy Johnson rookie. Amazing. Like, you didn't even know what you had. Now you know what you have the second you open those packs. It's a different game to be sure. I still love it. It's just the price points are bonkers, and I can't participate in that part of the game, but I still love ripping packs. It's awesome.
Hey, now you open the pack and you're like, don't touch the card more than you have to. Put it away, because it's like if the corner gets bent, it's not worth. It goes from a PSA 10 to a PSA 9. It's like, no. So
I like touching them. I like having them in my hands. I like flipping through them. I think that's the fun part of it. I don't have
just went from a nickel to a penny because of that,
that's
Travis.
fine. I don't care. Well loved.
Exactly. But the awesome part is Yamamoto, if he keeps winning, this market isn't slowing down, and we could easily see one of his card hit the $250,000 mark within a year for a modern baseball card.
This guy start to draw at some point? If it's like a little Shohei action, like if Yamamoto's are going for what they're going for, what does a Shohei go for? My goodness.
Exactly. All game use stuff for Shohei. I saw jerseys out there at Dodger Stadium going for a ridiculous amount of money. I was like, I wonder how many folks are coming up. It's like, yeah, I'll take 2 of those, please. Oh, it's autographed, but I needed autographed. It's nuts. The hobby is wild, and Yamamoto, he's driving the bus right now with this story over the last week. Okay, that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen. If you're still craving more baseball talk, head on over to the brand new Locked On MLB Game Night. Let them be your second listen. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss tomorrow's show, as it's our Thanksgiving special. We're diving into what we're grateful for in the Dodgerverse. It's one of my favorite episodes of the year, Travis.
I'm thankful for Topps baseball cards. That's what I'm thankful for, and many, many other things. We'll get into it tomorrow.
I'm thankful for all the guys on those cards that you just showed us. I saw Kershaw, I saw Yamamoto, I saw Ohtani. So thank you to all those fellas in Boys in Blue. Freddie Freeman. Oh my God. Mr. World Series 2024. Unforgettable. We appreciate you riding with us. Until next time, keep it real. Keep it Dodger Blue.